Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 138 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. As you can see, I'm standing beside one of my interior doors and it's all assembled and modified. So, if you want to see how I did all this, all you have to do is stay tuned. As I stated in the introduction, we have two 2-foot bifolds in our house right now, and my wife really does not like bifolds. Those are especially bad because one's a pantry, and at times things fall out and then they fall behind the door, and you got to take the door out to get it out. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is convert those into just regular opener, like standard doors. Now, the problem in doing that is a bifold rough opening is smaller than a standard door rough opening. So what I'm going to do, and I debated for a very, very brief moment that I would actually rip the house apart and make the openings the right size, but oh, that's way too much work, and I just didn't feel like doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the door and the jamb down so they fit properly, and then we'll just install it. I don't think anybody's ever going to notice that those openings are, or those doors are a wee bit smaller. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just getting started. I went in and took some measurements. I'm going to allow an extra ½ inch so that I have a little bit of room to adjust. And so that means I need to cut this off at 24 3/4. I'm taking about not quite an inch off of it. And this is hard to work backwards here. 24 3/4. Right there. Okay. Then I'm just going to set this down here. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut this off. I've already cut one. So we'll just line this up and we'll cut this off. And there we go. Okay, that's that. Now the next step is putting this rabbet in on this side. I'm going to finish the header piece first because the hinge side and the latch side, all they need to do is to cut them to length. There's no other machining to do. So I will continue working along and we'll set up the dado head to do these. Well, I made a little bit of a mistake. I assumed something, and that's never good. So when I thought I was just going to see how, of course I did this after I cut them to length, I realized that the factory edge in 4½ inches was 1/8 of an inch out on both of them. So just to show you, when you're doing stuff like this, always check first. And I should have done that. Now it's going to, my door jamb is going to be 1/8 of an inch narrower than I had hoped. So yeah, but this one I've squared and I've redadoed already. And yeah, I know I have my fence on the wrong side here, but everything clears. It's easy to control. And I also don't have my dado stack set to make that full 3/4 inch cut, so I'll do it in 2 passes, and away we go. And there we go. This one's a little shallower than I might run that one more time, but this one's perfect. Okay, So I probably didn't push down hard enough on this side, and we'll do that. Okay, so we'll slowly be moving on to the next step. Well, I actually cut the hinge side already, cut it to the jamb to length. But one thing that is really, really surprising me, I have never seen this before. This is not square. I put my square on it. It's about a 16th of an inch out. So we're just going to take a snippet off of here to make this square. And here we go. Now I think I need to take another little pass. I wasn't set up quite perfectly. There we go. There. Now I have marked this as the top. This is up. So, and these are milled on both sides. So if you flip them, you can do it either way. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so then I'm going to measure. Sorry, I'm walking around here. Now, in total, I want, with the headpiece on, I need 80 3/4. So that's 3/8 on top of this. So I make this 80 3/8. And like I said, the other one's already done. And we'll line this up, get it right. And here we go. So now I have one set that I could assemble. So I think I've kind of shown you how this all works already. No point in just in making you watch me do the other two. So we'll come back when we're assembling them. Well, in the previous segment, I got the jamb cut to size, and now it's time to cut the door. So giving myself about 3/16 clearance, and I may have to hand plane a wee bit off the latch side of the door because I am putting it in, I think, fairly tight. So I'd rather have that than too loose. So what I'm going to be doing is, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a mark at the top there. I'm going to be cutting this door to 22 15/16. Now, I'm going to be cutting off the hinge side. And what that's going to cause, when you look at the door closely, you're going to see that the styles won't be matched. Okay, and I guess I could take a little bit off of this side and a little more off of this side, and maybe go, I believe this is 2 3/4 back set, this hole. If a guy went to 2 3/8, you could cut off a little bit, but I don't think it looks too bad the way I'm doing it. So I did the other one already, so I'm going to do this one exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut basically 1 and what? Almost exactly 1 off this door. And what's going to happen is this solid piece is going to come completely out. So I'm going to have a hollow core here. So then what I'll have to do is rip the veneer off of both sides of this piece and reinstall it, glue it back in. So that's what I'm going to be up to tonight here, and you'll get to see it on this video. All right, the fence is set, everything's ready to go, and I'm just going to make sure it's straight, and we're going to turn the saw on, and we're going to cut 1 off of this side. And you can see I took off the solid piece completely. And yeah, we'll maybe cut the height next. Get the cutting done, and then I'll work with this. Well, now it's time to cut the bottom, and I'm only cutting about 3/8 of an inch off the bottom. Now that's going to only give it about a 1/4 inch at the bottom of the door to the floor. Now, normally that would not be enough because often it's about 3/4 of an inch, and the reason it is that is because with forced air heating, you don't usually have a return air in every room. So the bedrooms often the doors are, half 3/4 of an inch off the floor, and what that allows is when your furnace turns on, it can draw the cold air off the floor of those rooms, and it's good for your overall heating circulation. Well, these are just little closets, and you'll see when I install it. It's kind of hard to explain. So I'm not going to take as much because there's only 3/4 of an inch of solid material here. And if I cut half of it off, it's kind of enough to leave a little bit of wood here, and the door will still work in the opening. So it's a bit of a compromise. And to do this, I am just going to use my trusty circular saw. So here we go. Okay, I think that'll be fine. What I could have done is I could have clamped a straight edge on here. That would have helped, but I stayed nicely on the line. The only thing I did a little bit at the end is I let the saw tip over a bit, so there's a little bit of a bevel on it, but again, that's not going to be a problem. So now the next thing to do is to get the piece back that we can fit it in here. So I'm going to move the door off the saw, and we're going to run the table saw again. Well, here's a strip, and I set the saw, and I bit it a little bit, and I think the settings are right. So now I'm going to trim this side off, reset the saw, and cut the other side off, and then this is ready to be glued back in. Okay, the other thing that's really important here is I made sure the blade's not too high. I'm on the low fence setting because I need to get a push stick in here, and you can't with a high fence. And again, you're working with small material, kind of light material, fragile. Yeah, you got to be careful when you make this cut. So here we go. Whew. I have got to get dust collection on this machine. Okay, I'll set it and we'll do the other side. Well, it's the next morning. I didn't feel like gluing this. I should have glued it last night, but I didn't. So the first thing I'm going to do is run a bead of glue on the inside here. Two beads of glue. Okay, it's very important with this piece that you mark which end is up or whatever, so you know how to get this back together the right way. I mean, yeah, you can always recut the gain for the hinges. It's not the end of the world if you get it wrong, but it's just extra work. So I'm going to pull this edge over so I don't get glue on there. And then I think I'm going to start from this end. And I'm going to put a healthy bead of glue right on close to the outside edge, so when I slide the MDF backer piece into it, it's all going to get nice and covered with glue. Okay, and I'm going to put a little on the end too. All right, I don't really like doing this on my table saw, but I don't have a choice today if I want to get this done, so, and I want to get this done. All right, so we're going to quickly flip this before the glue all runs to the inside, and it started to already. Okay, and now the top is there. I got to remember that. Okay, and we'll give it a little bit at the end, and lots of glue again. Oops, came out. There we go. Okay, that's the top. That just goes in like that. Oh, just going to get my tapping mallet here. All right, so now I'm going to set it flush all the way along. This, putting these clamps on, makes a little bit of a mess of the finished paint, but I'll probably repaint these anyway. I have to do the edges. So, and I'm trying to get this as even as I possibly can. And I'm getting glue on everything, but like I said, I don't think that's going to matter a whole lot in the end. I'll use up these clamps first. Yep, that feels good. Yeah, some of these clamps aren't what they used to be, but oh well. They were cheap. There we go. Yeah. I like these Irwins though. These are nice clamps. Yeah. There we go. It's coming nicely. Yep, that's good. And if I get it a little bit too far out, I can always go back and just sand that off. This MDF is pretty soft. Okay, just going to sneak around. Not sure why I switched to these clamps, but it is what it is. Yeah, that looks good. this all looks good. Go. That'll do. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting it even. Yeah, that'll do. And I think that's it. Okay, it's all glued back in. Now the next thing to do will be to, there's gain, that's where the hinge goes in, it's notched out. And there is no notch now in the door skin, so all I do is take a router and a chisel and do that, but it's going to dry first. So we'll go on to the next step. We got to wait about maybe an hour, see what's time now. Yeah, after lunch I'll come back and finish this door off. Okay, away we go. Well, it's after lunch. Everything, I took the clamps off already. It was in the clamps about 2 hours. Everything looks really good. All I'm going to do now is just lightly knock off the edges. And we're going to cut the, see, here's the gain for the hinge. It's cut into the MDF solid piece here. Now the skin goes over it, so I'm just going to flush trim, route that out, and take the corners out with the chisel. Okay, but first of all, I'm just going to go over yeah, it's amazing how light these doors are. And I think that's about enough for you to see. I might touch up a couple of little areas yet, but that's pretty good actually. It's all pretty soft. Okay, so now we're going to make so the hinges fit properly, and I'll start in the middle. Maybe you can see it better. I don't know if I'll show all of it to you, but here we go. Maybe we will do it all. Yeah, what the heck. There we go. That's one side. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, now we'll do it again on this side. There we go. Yeah, that does a nice job. We'll sand that a little bit yet. But now we've got a rounded edge here and I want it straight, so we're just going to push in with the chisel. There we go. That looks good. I'll do one more. It's really quite easy to do this. It's all so soft. You just have to watch it. You don't get your fingers or your other hand on, so you're pushing the chisel into it. That can be bad. Chisels need to be sharpened a little bit, I think. Got to get my sharpening jig set up again, man. I took that all apart in January and I didn't get it back together. So, okay, so I'm going to finish this off. And the next step for this is to paint the edges. So we'll get on that as quickly as I can. Well, we're to my least favorite job. I'm not going to show you a lot of painting, but realistically, I'm going to give these doors another coat. I think they need it. We'll talk to the boss whether we want to do that when they're out laying flat or in the door, in the frames installed. I don't know. I suspect we'll do them out here. But I'm just going to go over the edges. I'm going to give them two coats. This is the first coat. So yeah, it's as much fun as watching paint dry. So, and I am not set up properly to paint in here. So this is a Behr paint. We've been buying our paint mostly from the orange store. Uh, One of the reasons I go to the orange store a lot is because for us, where we live, they're just really convenient. That's all. And I haven't had bad success with their stuff. Every once in a while, their corporate policy is really frustrating. Uh, Bought enough bags of blow-in insulation to qualify for a better price, but I couldn't haul them all at once, so uh, the salesperson, the associate or whatever, that was dealing with me said that that didn't matter. I could just bring my bills in at the end and take a look, and they would give me that price then. And so I did that, and nope, you have to take them all at once, and we're not adding that up. So I felt I got screwed over by them. But it is what it is. The insulation's done. And the paint, I don't think we've had any problems with. It's been all right. I'm getting a little too much on the brush here. But rolling this might be better. And I might roll the second coat. But yeah, I think these doors are going to be okay. If I look at it, I can notice that the one style is smaller than the other side, but I think it's going to be okay. Most people don't look that closely, and I think that it will be just fine. And the top I've done already. Well, yeah, that's it. The next thing is the assembly. So I'm going to see what kind of painting I'm going to do on the flats yet. If that's going to take a while if I have to do that yet. But yeah, we'll get the flats painted and the jambs are done. and they're ready to be installed. So I'm hoping to install the two closet doors that I cut down. I'm hoping to install them on Monday. So it's Friday today. But anyway, we're going to keep rolling here, and we will see you in the next segment. Well, it's time to put the hinges on. I'm going to start by putting them on the door first. And I have this self-centering bit that I'm going to use just to make sure the screws get right in the center. These are kind of odd screws. You can use a Phillips or a number 2 Robertson. And you really have to watch how much you tighten into this MDF. Okay, that's good. Moving right along here. Yep, that looks good there, like that. I wonder where that other hinge went. You can count on it. As soon as I turn the camera on, I'm going to lose something. A good idea maybe would be to drill one and then put the screw in to hold the hinge, but these hinges are not moving. Whoops. Okay, there's got to be another hinge around here somewhere. And there isn't. Where did that hinge go? I was carrying, there it is. I was carrying it around when I was setting up the camera. Okay. We're just about there. I want to make sure I don't lose any screws. The paint on here makes it a little stickier. Or sorry, makes it so I have to pound the hinge in. Okay, there it is. There, now that one will stay in place. Oops, gotta watch that. That one isn't as good as it could be. And putting longer screws in doesn't help that much because you've only got about an inch of solid here. Okay, I got the hinges on here. Now I'm going to set everything up on the table and put the jamb onto here. And now I'm ready to attach the jamb to the door, to the hinges. And again, I put one screw in just to give me a little bit of a head start here. Want to make sure that nothing falls apart while I'm trying to do this. Again, using my self-centering bit to make a mark. And I'm actually going to pin. Oh, where did my screws go? I'm going to pin all the hinges first. There we go. Just want to make sure that everything stays in place. And everything is lined up quite nicely. This hinge I want to try to adjust just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to sneak off here and get some screws. And it's coming, it's coming. Oh, come on. You're trying to pick things up and you can't. Oh well, there they are. Okay, so then you really don't want to go too deep with this because you don't have a lot of strength with these screws if you're, just into MDF. And I'm not tightening them up very much at all. I'm going to have to paint everything once it's in again. They're just carrying this back and forth to the house through the garage, bumping into things. I've made a couple of little marks on the paint, and that's okay for now, but it's not going to be in my house like that when it's done. And that's that. So now I'm just going to put the header part on here again, and this one can go in. Install it on Monday. Well, there it is. It's done. Got one of the two done. The other one just needs final assembly like I did on this one. And then we'll install them hopefully on Monday. That's the plan right now. So I'll show you that in a video too. We'll install one together. When you're not really quite set up to work with this properly, and it seems like working with doors has become kind of a lost art. And like I mentioned, the door jacks. I know there are tools I could make that would make this easier. But because I do it so seldom, I don't bother. So I have one more custom door to make, and that's a bifold that we're going to convert to 2 swinging doors. And that's lying behind me here. I'll start on that next week. But this door had to be cut down in size 2 ways. The jamb had to be modified, and I'll show you that when I install it. You'll see what I mean then. But I'm not set up for this and had some things go the way I didn't want them to. But in the end, it's going to be good. And this is what you're going to see. The hinge is going to be on the outside, and it's going to swing open. And that's what my wife wants. And in the house, well, we talk about things, but yeah, if she wants it in the house, she gets it. And that's just the way we roll. So anyway, with that, that brings this episode to a close, or this chapter. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next video. How's that?